Hey, what's up, everybody? Jack back here, coming at you from Wake Forest University. I'm in my dorm room hall right now, and I'm going to be doing a video about the winners and losers of NFL free agency. So really excited about this video. I haven't been doing a lot of NFL content, but I think last year, like, free agency was like non-existent basically. I know the page. I don't even remember like any big contracts that happened last year in free agency. Like, I really can't think of one off the bat. But this year was huge. Just because so many teams had money to spend, and there were just a lot of guys out there, a lot of significant names. So just a heads up, I'm making this video, and Kenny Golladay hasn't signed anywhere yet. And he, in my opinion, he is the biggest free agent in the market. I think it was kind of a given that Dak was going back to Dallas. But in terms of Kenny Golladay, he has not signed anywhere yet, nor has Curtis Samuel. So I'll probably just post, you guys will all know, whoever's watching, where they sign. But I originally saw a report that Curtis Samuel was going to the Jaguars. I think he's an underrated player, but if you're giving him $15 million a year, I don't know if he's worth that. I wonder how much he's going to get. It'll be interesting to see. But basically, we're just going to be doing two winners, two losers of free agency. So sit back and enjoy. So first off, for me, this was tough because I wanted to be unbiased, but I gotta put the Patriots in there as a winner. We last year were 7-9. We did not have an NFL caliber team, and we got 8 or 9. Let me look at, like, 8 or 9 players that are NFL caliber players that are going to improve the talent level on our team. We address so many needs, and we still have our first round pick that we can use towards a quarterback, a wide receiver, linebacker. Something that we're now more comfortable in. So my favorite signing for the Patriots, I like Johnny Smith. So we signed Johnny Smith, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Devon Godzilla, Matt Judon, Henry Anderson, Jaylen Mills, Carl Davis, I don't know who that is, Cam, obviously, Dietrich Wise, Hunter Henry, and I think that's it. And then they're still looking at Chris Carson, but loved, and we also got Trent Brown in a trade. That doesn't really count, though. They're also looking at David Andrews. But anyways, so Johnny Smith, look, for the past 3 years, or since Gronk left, we haven't gotten production out of the tight end position. And that's hard to operate an offense when you're getting zero production whatsoever out of a tight end. And we addressed that by signing Johnny Smith. We signed him to 4 years for $50 million. A bit of an overpay, yeah, but you need him. We need a tight end. So I'm okay with that. We have a lot of cap space. Yeah, we overpaid him. He's also still relatively young and could get better. I like him. I think he's a top 10 tight end at least. Maybe top 5. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. He's very good. So really like that. Then next up, we had Devon Godzilla. So he's a great run stopper. Had an injury, but played under Brian Flores, did really well, which is the same system Belichick has, because Flores was Belichick's understudy. So I really like that. Address the D-tackle position, D-line, which we so desperately need to do. Also loved Matt Judon. We had a non-existent pass rush last year, and we added Matt Judon, who is guaranteed to get at least 7 sacks a year, and I think he's proven that. So I was really happy about that. I also, going down the list, Jaylen Mills, so 4 years for $24 million. I thought that was an interesting deal. I think it means we will trade Gilmore, or we're not going to re-sign him, because They already have J.C. Jackson. They already have Gilmore. And now you had Jaylen Mills. That's 3 cornerbacks. You don't really need 3 really good cornerbacks. So I think they're going to trade Gilmore, which is unfortunate. But I like Jaylen Mills. I think he's decent. And the Patriots already have such a good secondary with the McCourties, Chung, Gilmore, Jackson, that he doesn't need to even play that well to be effective since their secondary is already so good. So I like that move, just get some cornerback depth. And, if you trade Gilmore for assets, you have him to plug in for Gilmore. So like that. Then Dietrich Wise, they re-signed. Hopefully he can do better with more of a pass rush, around him. I think he was probably their best pass rusher, if I had to say somebody. But it's just an ugly pass rusher overall. Next up, we got Nelson Aguilar. Aguilar he's an explosive player. He has a problem with catching the ball sometimes. He's gonna drop a few balls. And if he didn't drop those balls, I think he'd be an elite wide receiver. I think he is a little underrated just because of, his drops. He's a great route runner. He gets open. He can run the deep ball. But he's gonna make some drops. And I don't know if he's the best guy to pair with Cam since, he doesn't have terrific hands. And Cam throws the ball about 90 miles an hour and is inaccurate. So, that'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But would have liked to, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. Kendrick Bourne, I know absolutely nothing about. I remember seeing him play for the 49ers a few times. He was second in catches for them this year, surprisingly. First was Brandon Nyuk out of Arizona State. So, he's an effective wide receiver. He can catch the ball, but I just don't know enough about him to speak out about him. $7 million a year is a lot for a wide receiver that I've never heard of. I'll say that. Henry Anderson, I have no idea who that is. Same with Carl Anderson or Carl Davis. Then Cam, bringing back Cam. He's not a long-term quarterback. That's a fact. They're going to run the ball a lot more, especially, maybe that's a reason why they got Aguilar and Bourne is because they're good run-blocking wide receivers and not necessarily pass catchers. Because this is going to be a run-first team for sure, especially bringing in Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry. Hopefully Cam can improve his accuracy and his arm, just his throwing ability overall. He's going to have a little bit better of an offensive line, I think. Even though they lost Tooney, they're getting back Trent Brown, and hopefully Wynn can play well at guard. Then Hunter Henry. So I really liked it. It's another weapon. You have the money left over. They're going to have 2 really good tight ends who can both block well. That's the best tight end combo in the league, period. He's another weapon. He's a good pass catcher. I like it. So with that, they really improved their team. Do I think they're as good as Buffalo? Probably not. I do think we're better than Miami just because I like our quarterback situation better. And I think we probably have as equal of good of a roster as they do. Especially factoring in Hightower's back. Gilmore will be back. Chung will be back. They traded Marcus Cannon to free up cap space, but getting some big guys back too, which is really going to help us out. So they're my first winner of free agency. My second winner is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have them as a winner because they pretty much retained their whole team. They were able to pay Shaq Barrett 4 years, $72 million, one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league, and kind of keep him there locked up. And then, of course, they extend Brady, which is great. Get him some. You're not going to lose him after this year or have to go through another contract war. So I like that. Then, they bring back Gronk again, who we've seen can make big plays in big moments, and is just another weapon in, the arsenal of weapons that the Buccaneers have. And they also tagged Chris Godwin, which I really liked. So, they didn't do anything big, but they kind of just tagged, they kind of just took everyone, got everyone back from their Super Bowl team, and that's what you need. I think they still have their first round pick. They should, which will be great also just to. I don't know who they're going to take with their first round pick. I mean, maybe a running back. Maybe. I don't know though. Or something on defense. Because I think they're going to lose Fournette. But they'll still have Ronald Jones. I don't know. But they're my second winner. First loser for me in free agency was the Kansas City Chiefs. And this is going to become a surprise to many people. But Kansas City Chiefs cut Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher, both who didn't play in the Super Bowl. And we saw what happened to the Chiefs' offensive line when those two guys are not present in the lineup. I mean, wow. Mahomes was running for his life. He was getting hammered. Now, people are going to respond to me and say, well, they signed Joe Thuney. First off, they gave Joe Thuney 5 years for $80 million. I don't think any offensive guard in this league, maybe besides Zach Martin, deserves that contract. I don't think the guard position in general should, command that salary. A guard is not that significant, especially in the Chiefs' offense that is pass first. In a pass first offense, you want good tackles, and your guards and your center aren't as important. If in a pass first offense, you want good tackles, and we saw that with the Chiefs when they have all-pro Mitchell Schwartz and former first-round pick Eric Fisher. Mahomes can throw the ball wherever he wants. He's got time. But without him, it's a disaster. And we saw that. The Buccaneers' pass rush isn't even that great, and they were harassing him all day in the Super Bowl. I mean, the Buccaneers' pass rush is above average, but it's not the best. And in the Chiefs, they're going to be in the Super Bowl competing for the next five years, 5 or some odd years. And you're going to need good protection for Mahomes. He's also your franchise. I mean, you've got so much money invested into him. And, you don't have a right tackle for him. Really disappointing. Tarneef is coming back, I think. But still, come on, man. I don't understand. For me, I didn't understand is why do you cut Mitchell Schwartz and then sign a guard? That didn't make sense to me. Mitchell Schwartz is also one of the best tackles in the league. So I didn't understand that. I also didn't understand why they cut Eric Fisher. Obviously, in hindsight, I do understand they're saving money in the cap, but I don't understand why they're valuing a guard over two tackles. That didn't make sense to me. And that's just my opinion. My second loser is the Lions. And this is kind of unfair since they're at a disadvantage. They don't spend a lot of money. They lose a lot of guys in free agency just because they don't spend. I have the Lions because, first off, I want to say I liked their move. I think they re-signed, let me check real fast. I think they re-signed Romeo Okwara, maybe it was. It's 3 years for $39 million or something like that. And I like that. I think that's a good move. I think he's a good pass rusher. But besides for that, I mean, their defense, it was Romeo Okwara. So they re-signed Romeo Okwara 3 years for $39 million. Really like that move. He's a good pass rusher. Got to keep him for a good pass rush. Him and Trey Flowers, pretty effective. Their pass rush isn't that high, but I think it'll improve. But then they lose Galladay, who's a top 10 wide receiver in my opinion. Okay, you're not willing to spend 16, 15 a year to re-sign him. That sucks. Maybe franchise tag him. I don't know. I don't know what the direction of this organization even is, to be honest. Maybe they don't want Kenny Galladay and they want the compensation pick. But still, it doesn't really make sense, So, okay, you lose Kenny Galladay. Then you lose Marvin Jones, which was I think he's getting what's his contract? I think he went to Jacksonville, I know. 2 years for $14.5 million. So you lose Marvin Jones. Can you really not cough up $7 million from Marvin Jones? That's kind of a head scratcher for me. Then you lose your all-pro return specialist and special teams guy for 3 years for $21 million. I wouldn't pay that much for Jamal Agnew, but still, he's he makes big plays on the field in special teams. I mean, he's returned at least 2 or 3 punts for touchdowns. Great kickoff returner. Great way to get yardage for your offense. And then they lose Jarrad Davis, one of their pretty decent linebackers, to the Jets. So, I mean, their team just got absolutely just, I mean, it was like, you have a bag of jelly beans, and every team just comes in and just starts taking. I mean, their whole team just got ripped to shreds from free agency. So, not making it easier on Dan Campbell. And then to top that off, they have, a little bit of money to, I don't know, they decide to spend some money, and they decide to sign a running back. I mean, you got to be kidding me. They decide to sign a running back when they have Adrian Peterson, I don't know if he's coming back, regardless, Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Smith. And they decide to sign Jamal Williams. Now, Jamal Williams is a good running back, but when you have two perfectly good running backs, why are you signing Jamal Williams when you don't have a linebacker, you don't have a good secondary, you don't have any wide receivers for Jared Goff? Makes no sense to me. So, yeah, I mean, like, wow, really does not make sense to me at all. And I just did not understand that at all. So the Lions are my losers. I feel bad, criticizing them in free agency because I know they don't spend a lot of money. It's kind of unfair to criticize them, but man, I mean, they got a lot worse, especially losing Matthew Stafford, but really disappointing. And they're making it hard for their new coach to be successful in Dan Campbell. Anyways, that's going to wrap up the video. I want to thank you guys for watching, and subscribe, like the video, and I'm going to be coming out with my MLB division prediction video very soon. Thank you. See ya.